I think it's interesting, when you have a health expert talk to you about how to run a marathon and they've never ran or done anything themselves, how are they giving you advice on how to handle your own body and your own that I think that's why it's important to take health advice with a grain of salt and then make your best decision with a collaborative team or, yourself anyway.
Oh yeah. I have quite the team. I feel like I've assembled over the years, and um kind of to your point, I feel like PTs and so much of the time I feel like are your best resource as like an athlete. And my PT also was like, no, you really need to get into cycling. I'll talk to a doctor in part because like you often have to in order to get a referral for a PT. But I find that like for an athlete, PTs are the best for most body stuff, and like have always, in my experience, done such a great job of both working with you as an athlete and acknowledging the mental health risks if you don't do something, but
Yeah.
also being really good at being like, no, like you need to not use this muscle group or this tendon or whatever for however many weeks. And then like helping coach you through both physically and mentally through the process of like, yes, you feel better, but you still have 4 more weeks of recovery before you're allowed to do the thing.
Yeah, I think coaching is is like a really good word because I think PTs are a great liaison for a lot of health care industry, right? Like we have our kind of our web, or at least our knowledge in a lot of different aspects and different spaces. And so being able to, again, be a coach for people and their injuries to get you to where you need to go is, I feel like PTs serve a really, really good role in doing that. And it sounds like you had a good one who was coaching you and be like, listen, you can't do this now, but it'll happen, right? It's going to happen.
Yep.
It's just, we have a little bit of time. We need to, get you back to where you need to go. This is only a small little road bump and we'll get you back to where you need to go. And that's like the complete opposite of your doctor being like, well, it's all downhill from here.
Yeah. Well, and they tend to, I feel like it's also like how PTs are situated in our healthcare system often is just better. Because in my experience, they've also been, it seems like they're, whether it's that just as practitioners, they're more open to this or better enabled. I don't know if it's better enabled by the system all up, but they seem to be much more collaborative. So at least in my experience, again, maybe I've just had great PTs, but in I've had multiple different PTs, especially with moving around, and like every single one of them was more than happy to have phone calls with my personal trainer to
Mhm.
advise and like to both share notes with each other as long as I consented to that, and then also to like advise the personal trainer as to what I could or should be doing
Yep.
and what to make sure I wasn't doing, and then they could tag team and like holding me accountable for not doing the things I wasn't supposed to do.
Right.
They also like in some cases were in a practice with chiropractors and masseuses and stuff like that. And so like I think often thinking very holistically about all the different things that might benefit my recovery and so on, as opposed to just what they were going to do for me. And I
Yeah.
don't think we give doctors enough time on our system. Like, I'm not criticizing the doctors that I've had, but um, yeah, I think a lot of times with body stuff, I'm just like, can you just refer me to a PT?
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point, right? Like we think of maybe we shouldn't have been talking about so bad about doctors, but it could be a product. It could be a product of the system, right? If you only have 20 minutes to go in and talk to somebody, it's tough to get into the mental barriers or the emotional barriers or the physical barriers of someone's, whatever you may be dealing with. It's 20 minutes is 20 minutes, and it's kind of tough for you to get down to the root cause of sometimes some things. So
Yep.
yeah, I think that's a good point with the system, and there needs to be a lot of change. And I think even today, like us talking is part can be part of that change of people learning from other people like yourself and your experiences.